a podcast that bakes up a variety of topics. My name's Kerwin Brown. I'm your host, and I'm here today with OJ DeSouza with Signature Baking. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So we like to start the podcast off with some quick fire questions to kind of get the conversation going. So just some quick deals. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay. Brownies, cookies?
Brownies.
Okay. Baguette, croissant?
Croissant.
Wow, okay. And then Texas toast or regular toast?
Texas.
So I think you make Texas toast?
We do.
Yeah, because I was guessing that was going to be your answer there. And then the favorite product that you guys make at Signature?
It's a jalapeno cheese hot dog bun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
And that sounds pretty good with a jalapeno. We're really into jalapeno cheese brats right now, so that double thick.
Perfect.
You know,
that's what I eat at home.
So yeah, we might want to get those in Kansas City. So we're going to again kind of just dive right in. I'd really love to hear about people's sort of path to baking, or kind of where they are now. You're running Signature, but you may not have thought that was maybe that your lifelong goal when you were a small child. Like, I think I'm going to run a bakery when I grow up. So I'll ask first, what's your earliest baked good memory, and then I'm going to ask about the path thing.
Sure. So I'm second generation. So my parents started it in '78. So
right.
The earliest thing that I remember is sleeping on the floor in the bakery office as my parents worked, at night.
Right.
And so we would spend a lot of time at the bakery as kids. It was basically a good way to keep us out of trouble and free labor. But we were, packaging bread by hand, 2 buns at a time. And
right.
So I would grow up doing that in the summers and just really whenever they needed a hand,
right.
We were there. But yeah, that would be it. I'm still in that office today. So
I think it's interesting. I grew up in a family business, and so there was times when I didn't like growing up in a family business, because your friends are, going to the lake or having fun or doing whatever after school, and I was back in the family business. So did you have a feeling of that at times where you may not have necessarily loved being a baker's kid?
100%, yeah. Actually, in high school, my dad would sometimes drop us off to school in a delivery truck.
Right.
He would take it home at night, and we would be dropped off in the lot with like a 16-foot box truck going through the drop-off line. So there were definitely some moments of that, and but other than that,
Right.
Other than that, I learned to love it and,
Right.
and really get into it. So
right. I also think you learn work ethic either. You wanted to learn it or you didn't want to learn it, but you end up learning it because you see your parents working 24 hours a day, 7 days, sort of thing, and it's certainly a caught thing. So tell us a little bit maybe about some of those early days of learning work ethic and what it's like to make a bakery work and things like that.
Sure. My dad is very much that man to gets it done.
Right.
Rolls up his sleeves no matter what. Fixing machines or tinkering with this and that. We're, started as a small bakery, and
right.
and there was no maintenance guy or anything
right.
like that. So, watching my dad lead as an example of you work until it gets done,
right.
and just no matter what, you have to keep going, and I think I've just learned from example from him
right.
on what to do there.
And the ability to keep customers happy and whatever it takes to, as hard as you've worked to get a customer, trying to keep them, and I'm sure you're still doing that today.
Yeah, absolutely. There's we don't sign any contracts with any customers. They choose to use us every day, every time
right.
they take an order. So keeping them happy and
right.
keeping a good relationship and communication is top priority.
Right.
I mean, our service is something that we pride ourselves on,
right.
and I try my best to befriend as many customers as I can, just so that way there's a relationship other than just being a delivery bread partner
right.
with them.
Exactly.
So.
Again, back to that sort of path question. you came out of high school, went to college. You weren't thinking you were going to be in the business. So
Not at all.
What direction were you going?
So as a first generation with Indian parents, I was on the track to be a doctor.
Okay.
Majored in biomedical engineering at Northwestern, and with biotechnology as a minor, and took the MCATs. Was planning on going to med school, and my dad, before graduation, asked me, your med school, your MCAT score is good for 5 years. Why don't you work for me for 1 year, and see if you like it. See what I've built, see what I've done, and if you like it, then we can go that route. I worked for him for a year and loved it. I mean, he was very open with everything that he was doing. He's like, okay, let's pretend the company's yours. What would you like to do?
Right.
And we'd have conversations about what the next step should be and how we should do it. And he gave me a lot of the ability to make changes, and it was a lot of excitement coming into it. So. Yeah, and we've just been working together since then. I think it's 17 years now or so. But
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just got sucked into I mean, I just loved it. I got to meet. I really enjoyed meeting customers and figuring out a problem and finding the solution. I loved business. Senior year, I was in lab, pipetting over and over again, which was not my strength. It was really developing those relationships and growing. So
it was probably just that ability to probably affect change. I mean, you were making big time changes,
Yes.
for the business, and you were hands-on. You must have loved the hands-on part, and also the ability to actually do something and have it really impact the business. Was it probably a really fun thing that you
huge
liked?
impact, and going to the different parts of the business, production, delivering what was happening in the office, trying to streamline and optimize different processes and operations that my dad had been doing forever. A lot of it's, there were things I was just like, how are you still, how did you grow this business doing it this way? So we created a lot of, we created our own website and portal where we could manage all the paper and pen stuff that we were doing in the office, and it really allowed us to scale pretty quickly. But I went around to the different parts of the company trying to do that, and I'm still doing that to this day. But
and at one point you said, I need a little more education with Kellogg, and you got a little more business education.
Exactly. Well, so I met my wife, and she was getting her MBA, and she was like, OJ, you're running a company here, you don't have your MBA? So she actually got me, we were on a date, and she pulled out my computer, and we looked up, the application process to a couple business schools, and really propelled me to do it. So I needed to know what I was, doing. How do I do it better? And at some point you get to a place where, at least for us, where we were, when I make bad decisions or learning from experience becomes expensive. So I wanted to learn how other people have done it. I'm not the first person to do all this stuff, and I was just shooting for the hip for 17 years or for 15 years, and it was really eye-opening to learn about what is actually going on in business and how best to do it.
Kind of maybe worst day, best day, funny story. Do you have anything? If you look back over 17, is there a funny story, or maybe it's something that wasn't funny back then, but maybe now it's funny today? So
yeah, there's some days that stand out for sure. I would say the worst day it's like Super Bowl in Dallas, and it froze our pipes. So our water line to our boiler for the proof machine, all the water froze, and the burning unit, it burned itself out and broke, and that was a really bad day because we couldn't get it replaced in time, and a lot of our product then went back. It just wasn't a good product, and we lost half of our customers in like a week's time, and so that was eye-opening to making sure that you have backups and can't let that happen again. Best day is probably any day that we install a new machine at the bakery. Putting in the hand-loading bagging machine that we have now, that was a great day when we got the Koenig auto panner, and amazing day there, and just seeing these different things that we were doing and that we were doing by hand for so long, and to have a machine do it consistently, efficiently, that's the best day for me. And we have more machines that we're trying to have come online here pretty soon, and I'm very excited about that. The funniest thing, our driver was delivering product to a restaurant, and he left his truck on when he went inside, and somebody stole the truck. And we're kind of freaking out, trying to figure out what to do, and I get a call from one of our customers saying, "Hey, there's somebody here in your truck trying to sell your buns to us, and we don't recognize him. Like he doesn't seem like he's with you guys.
Yeah, he doesn't know the pricing. He doesn't know anything.
Doesn't know anything." So I was like, oh my God, I'll be right there. I get over there as soon as I can. I call the police, of course. The police never show up, and so the client is slow rolling this guy like, "Okay, we're gonna buy. Yeah, can you get all this stuff out of the truck?" Buying me time to get there, and cops never showed. So I just parked my car on the side, and I just jumped in the truck, and I drove it back to the bakery. I stole it back.
Stole it back. That is a great story. That's a super classic story. We are both from Texas, so we can say yeehaw and
y'all.
So we are here in the South filming this, and we've got I always like to have some kind of treats, and so we have some treats in front of us. We've got some cherry pie and some pecan pie. Pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
Of course, we're from Texas. We say it the right way, and so we're gonna just try a little bit here.
Okay.
So we'll see. So we talked about feeding it to each other, but we thought that might be inappropriate, so we're not going to do that. So.
Oh, we're not doing it. Okay.
Well, okay. I was ready. I was so ready. My mom makes cherry and pecan, and for our birthdays every year, we did not ask for a cake. We always asked for a pie.
Really?
So still to this day, my 89-year-old mother is making pies for me.
You got a favorite pie?
These two. She makes both the cherry and the pecan. She makes her own kind of quality pecan pie with fresh pecans. It's amazing. So, what do you think?
Love it. You didn't make these. Your mom didn't make these.
Yeah, no, she did not make these.
I'd like to try hers one day.
Yeah, I think they're good. The pecan, it's good because I like the lighter filling. And I could have a few more pecans on it, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's perfect.
Yeah. Super light.
Cherry could use some more cherries inside.
I agree. Do you make pie? Do you bake it all at home?
No.
So
and it's actually, we rarely have bread in the house. Like I just forget to bring it home, and it's kind of a problem, but it's fine.
So, isn't that what they say about the cobbler's kids never have? It's always the baker's kids don't have any bread in the house. So. We're always looking for talent in our industry. I'm sure you're always looking for talent. Again, your path here was a little bit different. What do you say to either a young OJ, a 17-year-old, or a 17-year-old, person out there in the industry, or somebody, however old, why the baking industry?
Yeah. So for me, I would tell the younger self to join the associations, BEMA, ABA. I would have networked, meeting people that have done it, and learning from their advice, finding mentors, I think is really valuable. You learn a lot there. So I'm just super excited to be here, finally. And instead of looking at the other bakeries in Dallas as competitors, look at them as collaborators, really focusing on what we do well instead of trying to do everything.
Right.
So trying to narrow down our SKUs and work with the other bakeries as opposed to, beating each other up on price or whatever else that may be. So
certainly lean to the collaboration side versus
it's more fun.
It's a lot more fun than fighting and and breaking it out. So what would you again, now 17 years in, what's the best thing about the baking industry is, what would you say?
Again, the people. Even down to like the customers. They're just, everybody's very genuine and real. And at some point, we're making food. We're feeding Dallas and people wherever we are. But people look forward to that treat, that burger, that whatever it is. And I really like being able to provide a quality product to the end consumer. We work with the restaurant, so we don't get to really engage with the end consumer very often, but as a consumer myself, I appreciate it. So
no, I think that's important. I think it is fun to be in our industry. When you tell somebody that what do you do in the baking industry, people are like, oh, often they say, do you bake? And then I have to say, no. But it is a fun industry. I love our show because it's it's a baking show. And, as people
so fun.
Go to other, I know people in other industries, and it's just not as, I don't think, as fun as our industry. And again, we're feeding people, and you can't go into a grocery store or anywhere, it seems like, without, I pick up the bread, I look at it, where did it come from, all those things. And it's just kind of what we do in the industry. And you're always looking for something, a new flavor. How do they do that? Again, your jalapeno cheese, I'm like, okay, now I can't wait to try that on something. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for helping us get to know you guys and Signature Baking a little bit more.
An honor to be asked.
And we hope to see you guys all soon.